Hey, fifth grade, it's Miss Holly. I'm coming to you from my house in Dry Valley. We are not going to be in the library lodge today due to the quarantine, but I did not want one of our library Thursdays to get by without us reading a book together. I'm missing you guys. I hope that you're enjoying your extended vacation, your extended time off. I hope that you all are safe and well and happy, and I hope that you guys are spending some of this extended vacation time doing some things like reading books. I know it's real easy to get caught up in television and movies and video games. We do that here too, but it's real important that you keep reading. Okay, so thanks to Rachel sharing this book with me. We are going to continue with our wonder stories. You know, we just finished this one up right before spring break, and we're going to start with the Julian chapter in Augie and Me, 3 Wonder Stories. I'm going to start by reading the introduction because I think it's real important. So you guys listen up and hang tight with me. Is there going to be a sequel to Wonder? Someone in the audience asked. No, I'm sorry, I answer, a little embarrassed. I don't think it's the kind of book that really lends itself to a sequel. I like to think that fans of Wonder will imagine for themselves what will happen next to Augie Pullman and all the other people in his world. That exchange or something like it has happened at just about every book signing, speaking engagement, or reading I've done since Wonder came out on February 14th, 2012. It's probably the question I get asked the most, aside from, will there be a movie of Wonder, and what inspired you to write Wonder? Yet here I am, writing an introduction to a book that is, for all intents and purposes, a companion to Wonder. So how exactly did that happen? To answer that question, I have to discuss Wonder just a little bit. If you've bought this book or been given it as a gift, there's a good chance you've read Wonder already. We've done that, haven't we, kids? So I don't need to tell you too much about it. Suffice it to say that Wonder is the story of a 10-year-old boy named Augie Pullman, who was born with a craniofacial difference. As he navigates the ups and downs of being the new kid at Beecher Prep Middle School, we see this journey through his eyes and the eyes of several characters whose lives happen to intersect with his over the course of that pivotal year, and whose insights enhance the reader's understanding of Augie's passage to self-acceptance. We don't hear from many characters whose stories don't directly expand upon Augie's story within the time frame of that 5th grade year, or whose understanding of Augie is too limited to shed light upon his character. Wonder is Augie's story, after all, from beginning to end, and I was very strict with myself about telling his story in a simple and linear way. If a character didn't propel the narrative forward, or told a story that ran parallel to it, or before or after the events in Wonder, then he or she didn't get a voice in the book. Remember, guys, that each particular section or chapter, you could say, was voiced by a different character from the book. That's not to say that some of these other characters didn't have interesting stories to tell. However, stories that might have explained their own motivations a bit, even if those revelations didn't directly affect Augie, which is exactly where this book comes in. To be clear, Augie and Me is not a sequel. And guys, for those of you that don't know, a sequel is just a book that's written after the first book that kind of is a continuation of the first story. It doesn't pick up where Wonder left off. It doesn't continue to tell the story of Augie Pullman navigating middle school. In fact, Augie is only a minor character in these stories. What this book is, precisely, is an expansion of Augie's world. The 3 stories in Augie and Me, the Julian Chapter, Pluto, and Shingling, all originally published as short ebooks, are told from the perspective of Julian. Remember Julian, guys, we did not like him. Christopher and Charlotte, respectively. They are 3 completely different narratives telling the stories of characters who only occasionally, if at all, appear in each other's stories. They all do have one thing in common, though, which is Augie Pullman. His presence in their lives serves as a catalyst by which they're each transformed in subtle and not so subtle ways. Augie and Me is also not a sequel in a traditional sense because there's no continuation of Augie's story other than a brief fast forward in Julian's chapter to the summer after 5th grade, which provides a nice coda to the Julian Augie storyline. But other than that, readers don't find out what happens to Augie Pullman in the 6th grade or in high school or beyond. I can guarantee that that book will never be written. And that's a good thing, folks. One of the most beautiful byproducts of writing Wonder is the amazing fan fiction it has generated. Teachers are using it in classrooms, just like I did, asking students to get into character and write their own chapters on Augie or Summer or Jack. I've read stories devoted to Via, Justin, and Miranda, chapters written from Amos's point of view and Miles and Henry's. I've even read one child's very poignant short chapter from Daisy's point of view. Guys, do you remember Daisy, the dog? That was so sad when she died, remember? I cried. But perhaps the most touching story writing I've read has been about Augie, with whom readers seem to have a passionate sense of involvement. I've had kids tell me they know for sure that Augie will grow up to be an astronaut, or a teacher, or a veterinarian. They tell me these things with great, almost empirical authority, by the way. No dilly-dallying, no guesswork. So who am I to disagree with them? And why would I write a sequel that would limit all those options? Augie, as far as I'm concerned, has a bright and amazing future full of infinite possibilities, each one as lofty as the next. I'm truly blessed that readers of Wonder feel close enough to him to envision for themselves how his life will go. I know they understand that just because I chose to end Wonder on a happy day in Augie's life, it doesn't guarantee him a happy life. He will surely face more than his fair share of challenges as he grows older, with new ups and downs, new friends, other Julians and Jacks, and of course Summers. Readers will hopefully intuit from how Augie has handled himself over the course of his first year at Beecher Prep, with all its accompanying trials and tribulations, that he has what he needs inside of him to triumph over whatever life hurls his way, withstand the challenges as they come, stare down the starers, or laugh them away. There with him always, through good times and bad. There with him always, through good times and bad, will be his amazing family, Isabel and Nate and Via. The only thing I know that truly heals people is unconditional love, wrote Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, which may be why Augie will never succumb to any wounds inflicted by the careless words of passerby or the choices of his friends. Those he has too, friends both known and unseen, who will stand up for him when it counts the most. In the end, readers of Wonder know that the book has never really been about what happens to Augie Pullman. It's about how Augie Pullman happens to the world. Which brings me back to this book, or more accurately, the 3 stories contained in Augie and Me. When it was first suggested to me that I write these short ebooks, these wonder stories, I jumped at the chance, most specifically on behalf of Julian, who had become a much loathed, that means hated, persona among Wonder fans. Keep calm and don't be a Julian is even something you can Google now, as people have taken it upon themselves to make their own cautionary posters. And I completely get why Julian is so disliked. Until now, we've only seen him through the eyes of Augie, Jack, Summer, and Justin. He's rude, he's mean, his stares, his nicknames for Augie, his efforts to manipulate his classmates to turn against Jack are tantamount to bullying. But what's at the root of all this rage against Augie? What's up with Julian? And why is he such a jerk? Even as I was writing Wonder, I knew that Julian had a story to tell. I knew that his story of bullying, or why he bullies, was of little consequence to Augie and had no impact on the storyline, and therefore didn't belong in Wonder. It's not for the victims of bullying to find compassion for their tormentors, after all. But I love the idea of exploring Julian's character in a short book of his own, not to exonerate his actions. Exonerate means just to excuse it and act like it's okay now, but to try to understand him better. It's important to remember that Julian is still just a little kid. He has acted badly, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad kid. Our mistakes don't define us. The hard part is coming to terms with our mistakes. Will Julian redeem himself? Can he? Does he want to? These are the questions I ask and answer in the Julian chapter, even as I shed some light on why Julian behaves toward Augie the way he does. The second short book in Augie and Me is Pluto, told from the point of view of Augie's oldest friend, Christopher, who moved away several years before the events of Wonder take place. Pluto is a unique look into Augie's life before Beecher Prep. Christopher was there with Augie through his early hardships and heartbreaks, the horrific surgeries, the day Nate Pullman, remember that's Dad, brought Daisy home for the first time, the old neighborhood friends who seemed to vanish from Augie's life. Now that he's older, Christopher struggles with the challenges of staying friends with Augie, the stares, the awkward reactions of new friends. It's tempting to walk away from a friendship when it becomes difficult, even under the best of circumstances. And Augie's not the only one who is testing Christopher's loyalty. Will he hang on or let go? The third short book is Shingling, told from the point of view of Charlotte, the only girl chosen by Mr. Tushman to be one of Augie's welcome buddies. Throughout Wonder, Charlotte maintains a friendly, if somewhat distant, relationship with Augie. She waves hello when she sees him. She never sides with the kids who are mean to him. She tries to help Jack, even if it's in secret so no one else knows. She's a nice girl, no doubt about that, but she never goes out of her way to be more than nice. Shingling delves into the life of Charlotte Cody during 5th grade at Beecher Prep. And readers learn there was a lot of other stuff going on that year about which Augie Pullman didn't know. Dance performances, mean girls, old allegiances and new cliques. Allegiances, and new cliques. Maya, Zamina, Savannah, and especially Summer feature prominently in Shingling, which, like Pluto in the Julian Chapter, explores the life of an ordinary kid who is touched by extraordinary circumstances. Whether it's about Augie and Julian, or Augie and Christopher, or Augie and Charlotte, the 3 stories in Augie and Me examine the complexities of friendship, loyalty, and compassion, and most especially explore the enduring effects of kindness. Much has been written about middle school and the preteen years. You guys will be there real soon. And how it's a time in kids' lives when they are almost expected to be unkind to one another as they navigate their way through new social situations on their own, often without parental oversight. But I've seen a different side to kids, a tendency toward nobility, a yearning to do right. I believe in children and their limitless capacity to care and to love and to want to save the world. I believe that too. I see it in you guys. I have no doubt that they will lead us to a place of greater tolerance and acceptance for all the birds in the universe, for all the underdogs and misfits, and for Augie and me. Okay, guys, that was our author, R.J. Palacio, never say that right, Palacio, the Julian Chapter. I'm going to read just a little bit, okay? Before, perhaps I've created the stars and the sun and this enormous house, but I no longer remember. Fear can't hurt you any more than a dream. Ordinary. Okay. I know. I haven't been nice to August Pullman. Big deal. It's not the end of the world, people. Let's stop with the drama, okay? There's a whole big world out there, and not everyone is nice to everyone else. Remember, guys, this is Julian speaking. That's just the way it is. So can you please get over it? I think it's time to move on and get on with your life, don't you? Jeez. I don't get it. I really don't. One minute I'm like the most popular kid in the 5th grade, and the next minute I'm like, I don't know, whatever. This bites. This whole year bites. I wish Augie Pullman had never come to Beecher Prep in the first place. I wish he had kept his creepy little face hidden away, like in the Phantom of the Opera or something. Put a mask on, Augie. Get your face out of my face, please. Everything would be a lot easier if you would just disappear. Time out, kids. That's so hard for me to even read, right? It's just so cruel. But I'm going to read it just like it's written here because it's important to the story. Back to the story. At least for me, I'm not saying it's a picnic for him either, by the way. I know it can't be easy for him to look in the mirror every day or walk down the street, but that's not my problem. My problem is that everything's different since he's been coming to my school. The kids are different. I'm different, and I hate it big time. I wish everything was the way it used to be in the 4th grade. We had so much fun back then. We would play tackle tag in the yard, and not to brag, but everyone always wanted a piece of me, I'm just saying. Everyone always wanted to be my partner when we do social studies projects, and everyone always laughed when I said something funny. At lunchtime, I'd always sit with my peeps, and we were like it. We were totally it. Henry, Miles, Amos, Jack, we were it. It was so cool. We had all these secret jokes, little hand signals for stuff. I don't know why that had to change. I don't know why everyone got so stupid about stuff. Actually, I do know why. It was because of Augie Pullman. The moment he showed up, that's when things stopped being the way they used to be. Everything was totally ordinary, and now things are messed up, and it's because of him and Mr. Tushman. In fact, it's kind of totally Mr. Tushman's fault. Okay, guys, we're going to stop there. I'll come back at you real soon with another section from Augie and Me, 3 Wonder Stories, the Julian Chapter. Hey, guys, I miss you. I wish that we were sitting together in the library lodge right now under the twinkle lights. But I know that we're doing what we need to be doing, and everyone's staying safe. But I want you all to know that I love you, and I hope that we'll be back together real soon. Thanks, guys.